couple of questions that we ask ourselves all the time is, am I good enough for doing something, this thing that we're doing? We're already doing it, and yet we're asking the question. Maybe a question like, am I doing enough? Or um, am I still enough as things start to change? Am I still enough now, even though I'm getting older? And I think in midlife, that's a question that kind of come up quite a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back to Getting to Action. My name is Chatone Morrison. I am an EFT coach, a confidence coach, and the host of this podcast. And I'm excited to be with you today. Let me introduce you to my lovely co-host because we're going to jump into something really great today.
Hey everybody, I'm Morganne Bustos. I'm a public speaker, an EFT practitioner, and also a huge advocate for victims of domestic violence. So we are so excited to have you be a part of this. Welcome to Getting to After.
Yes. So obviously you probably know by now, if you don't know where you've been, that it is Women's History Month. And it's a time where, women are celebrated for doing all the extraordinary things that they do. We decided to talk about this today, Morgan and I, because these are not the things that you talk about in normal public conversation. I mean, you may see content like this, right, on your Facebook feed or on Instagram, or it may be some carousel that gives you some positive quotes about it. But when you're in your quieter moments, when you're walking in a room, when you're opening up an email, sometimes looking at your mirror or, doing your hair, your makeup, there's these little whispers, I think. And Morgan, if we're really honest, most women, even very accomplished women, they sometimes hear those whispers from time to time and they are just really closed about them.
Oh, absolutely. And the tricky thing about those thoughts is they can feel very, very personal, like you're the only one that's thinking them. But in all honesty, so many women are carrying the same kind of questions quietly in their mind. And when those thoughts just stay quiet, they can start to feel heavier than they
Oh,
really are.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's interesting because when you talk about the idea of being heavy, so I have to tell you this story. I don't know if I've told you this or not, but I might have told you a little bit. So, obviously, Mark and I just came back from Asia, and it was such an amazing trip. But there was some trickiness to it. And the first thing is that we had to constantly deal with luggage weight. I mean, constantly. So getting there, we were fine. Um, but we hopped to so many islands of Southeast Asia that on most of the airlines, they only allow you to have 15 pounds in your carry-on. And hello, like my coat is 15 pounds. And also, so, and then we had to make sure that the bags themselves weren't overweight. And it wasn't until the very end of the trip that we could like pile a bunch of things and then bring them home. But in between all the countries that we visited, we had to be very careful what was in the bags. And every single time when we were closing up the bags, we were gathering gifts from people as we were meeting new people and things and taking things along with us. And we had to keep stopping and asking ourselves, um, is this something that needs to go with this? Can we leave this behind? Is this worth paying for? Is the weight of this important enough for the extra cost? And I realized, because you know me and a metaphor, right? That is exactly what we do emotionally all the time. We carry bags, we've been packing them up, we've been carrying them around for years, and those are our thoughts. Those are about our who we are. Those are about our abilities. Sometimes about our bodies, and we carry this emotional weight. We're paying for it. We're asking permission to carry it, right? And then what happens is they're overweight and there's an emotional cost. And so because it is Women's History Month, I thought with all the wonderful things that women have done and do, that I mean, I know that I personally can't cure all of the negative feelings that people have, and that's not even what our job is here. But since we're extraordinary, which high five, we're extraordinary, right? I thought this idea of carrying along these more dark thoughts. I'm not even going to call them negative, it's darker thoughts, heavier thoughts that have an emotional cost that maybe we need to stop paying, that we could do some tapping along as we kind of start to unpack some of these ideas. And so this is a tap along episode. We're going to talk about three particular things, and you're going to have an opportunity to tap with us and kind of just clear some of those things if they're your thing.
Mm. And we want you to know that before we even begin this, having these thoughts doesn't mean something's wrong with you at all. It just means that they've been sitting there in the suitcase for way too long. So today we are opening up all the bags.
Getting it out of there, right? Morgan, it's interesting because the first time we recognized this, I looked at my husband. I brought an extra bag with me. That's how bad it was. I knew I was going to shop and I knew I wanted to bring things home and we are going to get gifts for people and all of that. But what I didn't realize was how much it was going to cost us.
Mm,
Right? So we're already paying for the bags initially, like the first bag, and then how much the second or third bag was going to cost us. And
mhm,
so if you've been carrying along these darker thoughts, thoughts about your capacity, your capability, the changes that are happening, and you're really silent about them, it's kind of like getting in line with a really heavy bag and hoping that when you put it on the scale, they're not going to notice. I can tell you from experience, they notice.
they notice.
Okay, and here's a trick. I shouldn't even tell. So I tell the trick, Morgan. So, side note. Okay, this is digress. All right, but we're women here, so we need to talk about all the tips and tricks. One of the things that I love to do when we're traveling is I create. I'm either writing, usually writing, so on a laptop. I
Mhm,
couldn't carry a laptop. I couldn't have 15 pounds in a bag.
mm.
So I decided to do drawing instead. Of course, you know, I'm not a person who travels light. So I had a bunch of markers, glue sticks. I was scrapbooking, doing all the things, and the bag was about this big. Wasn't big, but it was fat and it was a little bit heavy. And I'm thinking, this is going to send my bag overweight. I'm gonna tell you something. Don't sleep on what you can learn on the internet because I read where it said they'll weigh your bag, but they won't weigh you. Shout out to not weighing me. And I took the whole thing and I stuck it in my coat pocket. This big bag.
Chatone.
Stuck it in the bag. I looked pregnant. Oh, I did. I had makeup bag here, the pin bag here, and I was walking through with a puffer coat. Listen,
They're
listen.
like, "Ma'am, can we pat you down?" Oh my goodness.
So this is once you're already through that. The point is that that was a good way of carrying extra stuff. That was actually to help me emotionally. But if you're carrying emotional bags that's too heavy, let's unpack them, as Morgan said. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into a conversation about capability. So, Morgan, I thought what we talk about first is, as capability. I think that obviously we're able to do all sorts of things. We know that. But
Mhm,
really, it has to do with less than what we're doing and more about who we are. And this feeling of, am I enough? And I think enoughness, no matter when I come across any kind of, coaching program, being enough is always at the bottom of it, is always at the base is do we feel that we're enough? So when do you think that women tend to, especially in midlife, tend to question their capabilities?
I think it's definitely when you're around other women,
Mhm.
or you're around other just people in general, when you're succeeding at something and then you're doing really, really well with it, and you kind of question everything around you at that moment because you're scared to shine.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So that would mean that for women that are doing well, uh,
Mhm,
then they want to hold back. And I think you've said that before, and I think that there is a paradigm around that for sure. And I know that we've tapped on that with a couple of people in the past as well. And it is
mhm,
true. It is true. And I know that it is something we have to work through. And I think that many times, and again, you're younger than me, so probably it's something that I don't think about as much because I definitely worked through that in my late 30s, early 40s.
mhm,
That idea of what happens if I succeed and, how do
yeah,
people feel and, the idea of haters, right?
mhm,
So it's definitely something that I think comes up.
mhm. Well, have you ever walked into a room and suddenly you felt like everyone else knew more than you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kidding? Are you serious right now? So corporate will do that too. It's like every day you think you're enough and then you find out you're not. It's really it's like a Jekyll and Hyde horrible moment. And I will not regale you with tales of me in corporate of how many times I felt that way. And I knew I was enough. I knew that
Mhm,
I was succeeding. I knew I was excelling, in fact. But there be differences. Some of them were skin color, some of them were culture and heritage, some of them were education, and yet I was still bringing an A plus game.
mhm,
So it wasn't about doing, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It really was about being and feeling not enough. It's
mhm,
it's interesting how often and how quickly we can forget our own experience and our own intelligence in those moments. Like I show up, everyone is using my structures, my frameworks. I had frameworks that I built back in the day in McAfee that I would hope they're not still using them because they are old now, but they
Mhm.
went viral in the terms that I would see my own stuff parroted back to me. This is the framework we want you to use from someone in Australia. And I'm like, babe, like I wrote that 3 years ago. What are you doing? Like this happened often. And I had to, and so in those moments, I'm in these meetings sometimes and I was really like nervous, especially when I was dealing with people overseas and things like that.
Mhm.
They were coming back and bring me back something that I wrote, ma'am. Right? So
Yeah.
it happened.
Mhm. I definitely think for me, when you show up and you are really capable with something, and then you see somebody else excelling in another way, it can make you feel like you're not enough, right? In that area. And you really, and not you really, in those moments, it's really important to maybe to remind myself, like, this is what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Stay in my lane, excel in this, be great at it, because then it gives me something to offer everybody else too by being able to be good at it.
Yeah.
So,
It's interesting that we're talking about, again, we're going a little bit deeper than what doing is, but
mhm,
it starts at being.
mhm.
Unfortunately, what typically happens is people start at doing, and then the experience, and I guess that's natural, the experience is what makes them feel enough. And that goes back deeper than we can go in this episode about what happens with our children. How are we birthing our girls? Are we birthing our girls and our young men to feel enough just because they showed up, just because they breathe? They're enough. And by midlife, even if you had that, the world has beat it out of you so that you no longer feel that just because I showed up, I'm not saying I'm the president of the company. I'm not saying that I can teach, on a PhD level. I'm not saying that, I'm the one who has to take over the room. But just because I showed up, I am enough. And I think that feeling is something that we have to build and we have to release the pressure that says it's not true if we
Mhm.
really want to show up authentic and strong and brilliant and a catalyst, which I'm all about.
Right.
So we got a lot of fears, but let's clear some of it. This tension, this is the thing. Okay, so if you've never tapped with us before and you don't really know what tapping is, it is a self-soothing mechanism. It's basically like an acupressure for your emotions, and we're going to release pressure. We're going to release tension. Basically what exists inside of us is fear and love. And a lot of times when we're talking about being enough, it's that fear that's coming up. We're going to try and balance that with love. And so you're going to hear us saying something negative, dark, and something lighter. We're going to accept the two things, we're going to neutralize them, and we're going to hope to release some of this into the world. We usually start these by asking you how you feel about this. So as we were talking, and as we talk about the next two topics, start to think about, where does that resonate with you? Where do you feel that? As we're talking, do you feel like, ooh, that hit me? When I
Mhm.
walk a room, I do feel that way when I walk
Yeah.
in a room, right? Oh,
Mhm.
and from 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, that hit me at a 9, and I felt it in my chest, right? Wherever you feel those things, just kind of note it. You can note it down, write it down, and then as we tap, see if you feel a little bit differently. And notice too as well that these are going to be short taps. This is a tap along. It's for Women's Month. We're not going to hold you all day long, but if you want to do something deeper with us, I'll tell you at the end of the video how you can do that. So you ready to get started, Morgan?
Let's do it.
All right. All right, so we're going to start on the side of the hand. We're going to start, you can use these two fingers or these three. This is called the karate chop point. And what we're doing right now is called a tapping transformation. That's what we call it here at Getting to After. And I'm going to say a few phrases, and then you can repeat after me either out loud, in your mind, in a whisper, or you can just watch us tap. You can tap along. Or if tapping kind of bothers you, you could also just kind of press. These are the points, and you can also just kind of press that point as well, whichever feels comfortable for you. Even though part of me wonders if I'm capable enough for the things I want to do,
Even though part of me wonders if I'm capable enough for the things I want to do,
I completely love and accept myself.
I completely love and accept myself.
Even though sometimes I wonder if I'm enough,
Even though sometimes I wonder if I'm enough
or if I don't belong,
or if I don't belong,
I allow myself to have peace.
I allow myself to have peace.
Even though sometimes there are conversations that I have to have,
even though sometimes there's conversations I have to have
that make me wonder, why am I the one in the room?
that make me wonder, why am I the one in the room?
Why do I have the microphone?
Why do I have the microphone?
Why am I the speaker?
Why am I the speaker?
I decide today
I decide today
to release those feelings.
to release those feelings.
I choose calm,
I choose calm,
and I'm allowing my abilities to grow and expand.
and I'm allowing my abilities to grow and expand.
Excellent. All right, so let's tap through these points. So we're going to start at the eyebrow point. This fear that I'm not capable enough.
This fear that I'm not capable enough.
Side of eye. I wonder if I really belong here.
I wonder if I really belong here.
Under eye. I keep comparing myself to everyone else.
I keep comparing myself to everybody else.
Under nose. I think they all know more than I do.
I think they all know more than I do.
Chin. There's a tension in my chest
There's a tension in my chest
and in my shoulders.
and in my shoulders.
Collarbone. I question my own abilities.
I question my own abilities.
Underarm. This quiet voice that says I'm not ready.
This quiet voice that says I'm not ready.
Top of head. Carrying this doubt in my body.
Carrying this doubt in my body.
I've been carrying this doubt in my body.
I have been carrying this doubt in my body.
Stop and just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Eyebrow point. Maybe capability grows as we go.
Maybe capability grows as we grow.
Side of eye. Maybe I don't have to know everything today.
Maybe I don't have to know everything today.
Under eye. And what if learning is part of belonging?
And what if learning is part of belonging?
Under nose. I'm allowing myself to grow right in this moment.
I'm allowing myself to grow right in this moment.
Chin. I feel my breath.
I feel my breath.
I'm letting it settle.
I'm letting it settle.
Collarbone. I'm letting myself feel calm.
I'm letting myself feel calm.
I deserve to feel calm.
I deserve to feel calm.
Underarm. I'm trusting that I've already lived and learned enough.
I'm trusting that I've already lived and learned enough.
Top of head. I am allowed to take up as much space as I need to as I grow.
I'm allowed to take up as much space as I need to as I grow.
Excellent. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. For our audience, as you tap, you're going to feel different things. We created these tappings for you, but no matter what happens, we feel them too, because we're in midlife also. We're human. And that particular one, definitely, I felt a little bit of chill here. Whatever you feel, whether it's chill, whether it's in your throat, wherever it is, just breathe through that. You can do a couple extra deep breaths. And again, if something hits you in a really strong way, or you feel very emotional, you can stop saying the things with us. You can just do the tapping. Definitely write down where you feel you were triggered and contact us, because we'd like to go ahead and tap with you as well. We have a little one-to-one session with you. So now we're going to talk about capacity, Morgan. We're talking about capability. Can we do it? Like, are we able to do it? Now it comes down to, are you doing enough, which is more of a capacity issue. And I think that especially in corporate spaces, probably educational spaces as well, those two things ride together, but they're really very different.
Well, women carry so much responsibility constantly, from being at work to taking care of your family, the emotional support that you give to everybody constantly. And then you also put in being a caregiver for so many of us. So it's a lot to carry.
It's a lot. And yet, for some reason, we will ask ourselves, "Am I doing enough?" Do you think that women often underestimate how much they're actually carrying? I mean, I just want to say for myself, I think that's true. To you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. How does
Absolutely.
that show up? Do you think?
By constantly feeling like we have to do more, like being not wanting to sit down because we're thinking, oh, I could be accomplishing this, this, and this. So
Yeah.
I need to just keep going.
Queens of multitasking, which I used to carry a badge of multitask. Like, you give me an Emmy for my multitasking, right? I want a Grammy, a Tony, and an Emmy for all of
Yeah.
the things I'm able to do at once. And I
Yeah.
do think that our capacity can grow with things like AI. It can grow with things like all of our technology. We can multitask better than we ever have before. And yet at the same time, people still getting Alzheimer's. Now, why would that be? When you
Yeah.
can remember almost everything you've got going on, why are you forgetting? Because the
Mhm.
brain is saying decision fatigue,
Yeah.
you are doing too much and enough and too much, and we need to rest right now. So it's kind of this thing where we're carrying all this stuff and yet we don't realize it.
So then at what point do you think it was that all of us as women felt like we had to constantly keep our cape on and like couldn't take it off, throw it in the washing machine and let it dry before we put it back on?
Yeah, it's so funny because we always talk about the washing and the drying of it, and I don't know, we're just walking around nasty capes, but I think it's just maybe we saw our mothers do it, and I think generationally it'll get less maybe,
Mm,
um, although our Gen Zs either wanna do all or nothing. They
mm.
either wanna be completely, "It's all technical, somebody else gotta do it, AI," or they're going back to, "I wanna be a stay-at-home, not working, bake my own bread, cook everything from scratch, and be a homesteader."
Yeah.
In another generation, they're gonna feel burnt out again.
Mm,
So I think it's this idea of I must keep up. I have to be doing more because I have to keep up. And again, that's what I think is so interesting that that's what happens why in the body we always feel that we're behind, even though we're not, which is how we started this. Like, since we're carrying all these things, why on the earth would we ever think that we're not?
mm.
And so that's that whisper that my to do list is yay long. Okay, I got through three quarters of it. I didn't do enough.
Yeah. And then you look at your to-do list and there's 60 things on it. 60. And yet half of them are done. They're crossed off or checked off and it still doesn't feel like it's enough. I
Exactly.
remember the day that you told me that just like make 6, like your 6 most important things and then stop with that. Be happy, be grateful with that. If you're able to do something else that's not on the list, then wonderful. But stop asking so much of yourself because when you do that, you're never like you said, it's never enough.
It's
You
not.
never feel satisfied with
Right.
anything that you're doing.
Yeah.
Mm,
And I think too, Morgan, I think, and again, because we do talk to so many professional women, that a 6 list doesn't work, right? But yet it has to. And so we need to either be able to delegate out, we have to reduce the list, we have
mm,
to talk to people, like we talked last week about love language, we have to ask for acts of service. We have
mm,
to literally speak up for ourselves. But because if you're constantly asking, "Am I doing enough?" "Oh, I'm not." Oh, all of a sudden, then you go down, "Oh, I'm not enough."
mm,
Right? Those are those dark whispers that start to happen, and we need to release this performance pressure. If you're
mm,
a gymnast listen, and you got a floor routine, you need to stick it every time. It's not that deep. We don't have to stick it every time. We're not on a balance beam. We can live
mm.
through life and we can let a few things go. We're not going to fall if we do that. So, EFT is a perfect place for this, I think, because it allows some of those things to drop off. Would you lead us into a little tapping for this?
I would absolutely love to. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start off on the side of our hand on the karate chop point, and we'll just start gently tapping. And if you'd like, you can repeat after me. Even though part of me feels like I should be doing more,
Even though part of me feels like I should be doing more,
I'm open to releasing the pressure
I'm open to releasing the pressure
that says I'm never doing enough.
that says I'm never doing enough.
Even though sometimes I feel behind or overwhelmed
even though sometimes I feel behind and overwhelmed
by everything that I'm carrying.
by everything that I'm carrying.
I'm becoming aware
I'm becoming aware
that I am enough.
that I am enough.
Even though my body is constantly moving,
Even though my body is constantly moving,
I am learning
I am learning
that I deserve to be still.
that I deserve to be still.
And I deeply and completely
And I deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
Take a breath. And out. Now we're going to start at our eyebrow point. This pressure to do more.
This pressure to do more.
Side of eye. Feeling like I'm always behind.
Feeling like I'm always behind.
Under eye. Carrying so many responsibilities.
Carrying so many responsibilities.
Under nose. Wondering if I'm doing enough.
Wondering, am I doing enough?
Chin. This heaviness in my shoulders
This heaviness on my shoulders.
keeps getting heavier and heavier.
It keeps getting heavier and heavier.
I'm willing to let it go.
I'm willing to let it go.
Collarbone. Trying to keep everything moving
Trying to keep everything moving
is a full-time job.
It's a full-time job.
Underarm. This fear that I'm falling short.
This fear that I'm falling short.
Top of head. My nervous system holding this pressure.
My nervous system holding this pressure.
Let's breathe out real quick. And now breathe in slowly. And out slowly. I notice that it gets a different feel when we're done going through the cycle. If we go ahead and we release it first and then breathe in and breathe out, it gives it a little bit of a different thrill when we're about to go in and reframe the way that we were talking.
Nice, nice.
We're going to go ahead and start the eyebrow point again.
Okay.
Maybe my capacity deserves respect.
Maybe my capacity deserves respect.
Side of eye. Maybe I've been carrying more than I realized.
Maybe I've been carrying more than I realized.
Under eye. Allowing my body to breathe again.
Allowing my body to breathe again.
Brings calmness to my soul.
Brings calmness to my soul.
Under nose. Releasing pressure to prove my worth.
Releasing the pressure to prove my worth.
Chin. I'm allowed to move at a human pace.
I'm allowed to move at a human pace.
Collarbone. My efforts count and I am enough.
My efforts count and I am enough.
And I choose to see myself now.
I choose to see myself now.
My worth.
My worth.
My value.
My value.
And my beauty.
And my beauty.
Underarm. My present counts.
My presence counts.
Because I am enough.
Because I'm enough.
Top of head. I am enough even when I pause.
I'm enough even when I pause.
Mm, okay. Let's breathe. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe everything out quickly.
Nice, Morgan. Thank you. Thank you. So we've now gone through something about how we feel about ourselves and our capabilities and our capacity. Those are two huge spaces, but of course, there's also that little pesky one about going through the change. We're starting to change. We're seeing who we are. We may not like who we are all the time. So I do want to touch a little bit before we end on just a little bit. Just a little bit. We may touch on a little bit more at the end of this month as well and going into the spring is about body image and aging.
Mm,
Um, I know that I'm older than you are, and some of our listeners are in their 60s and above. It's interesting as you get actually older, like older, you stop caring as much because you're just so happy that your body's still moving. But when it's true. It's true. You're like, wrinkles? Do I have a face? You start to level set what's important.
mm,
If my neck has wrinkles, but I can still do this. Hey, some of my
mm,
friends can't do that, right? I'm not talking about my friends, but that's the thing. And so as we start to age, and our bodies are changing, however that is, right? Or the feeling that we need to have it change. Um, there are these little whispers that are happening. And I think to
mm,
me, they're dark because they always bring with them, you're not enough. It's not even that you question yourself. The answer is given to you before you ever have a chance to ask the question. We live in a world that's constantly commenting on women's bodies.
mm.
Either they're too big, they're too small. The
Yeah.
clothes are good, the clothes are not good. You should show up different, you're not showing up in the right way. It's constant.
Mm. And it doesn't stop as we age. It seems like it's even more and more in our face because of the fact that our bodies are changing and we're going through so much.
Yeah. It's
Mm,
interesting because, I mean, obviously, we both rep a brand that talks about anti-aging. And I've had people throw this in my face. Oh, you're a confidence coach. You're about body confidence, body neutrality, and, self-love and all that. So why do you sell anti-aging products? Because just because I believe that every woman can be beautiful doesn't mean I want to have Lord of the Rings on my neck. Okay. And that's my prerogative. And if you love what you have on your neck, you rock it. I mean, rock it out. Okay. But personally, that's a personal preference. It's the same thing, Morgan, back in the day, I used to wear colored contacts. And they really matched my face so well that when I wasn't wearing them with my glasses, I would get the same kind of energy. Oh, you're fake. You're so about self-love and all that. Why are you work? Because it's an accessory. There's such a
mhm,
difference between an accessory if you wear shapewear, if you wear a faja, if you wear these things that make you feel more secure, there's a difference between that and whether or not you're not feeling enough. So, since you're saying that the messages don't change, don't stop as we age and they actually get worse, it's like look younger, look younger, look younger, be better, whatever. Do you think sometimes that women are actually grieving, grief as if there's been a little death, that their bodies are not the same, but they're a little ashamed to talk about it? I know that's a
definitely.
very leading question, right? We all know the answer, but talk to me about it.
Definitely. And I think all of us go through it at different stages in our lives. It can be like growing from being a teenager, you have your teenager body, and then to the 20s, early 20s, and then your body completely changes in its 30s. Then you have kids, and that's a whole nother transformation. And then you get to the later years where your body's changing even more, where you've got like your own weather system going on, like I got going on right now, wearing shorts. Wearing shorts today. Things that we're
Yeah,
constantly in our face, feeling like we have to be ashamed of who we are and what we're going through.
yeah. When you think about grief, you're thinking about there's a huge loss and there's
Mhm,
nothing you can do about the loss. Do you
mhm.
think women are actually going through grief but not talking about it?
Yes.
Because I do.
Mhm,
I think they're grieving. I think that when you're grieving, if you've lost someone that you love so much,
mhm.
And you can't, you wake up with it, you go to sleep with it. It's with you all day long. You may perform in a meeting, you may lead a TED Talk, you may be doing all the things for the PTA, for your school, for your kids, for your husband. You may be an amazing caregiver and everyone sees you as that. Just as we talked before, your capacity may be unlocked, your capability may be stellar, and yet you still have this thing, my body doesn't look the same. I
Mm,
don't feel the same way in my clothes. And there's
mhm.
this little grief that you're carrying with you. Grief is hard to shake. You have to either time takes it away, but unfortunately, as we said, as time goes by, it seems like the messages are getting worse. So I feel that there is definitely this grief that's going on, and that's one of the things that we're going to be tapping on today as well.
Well, and there's so many different stages to grief too. So we have to keep that in mind also. But what would it look like if we treated our bodies with more respect instead of constantly critiquing it every time we pass by a mirror or look at ourselves in the glass?
To me, it would look amazing. I mean, to me, that'd be fantastic. But I think that again, as we mentioned before, it's something that we have to grow up with. It's
Mm,
hard to discover or rediscover something that you never had in the first place. And so we're not gonna talk about that today. We'll do an episode like this closer to the, end of spring, but I think it really does come down to what do our conversations look like? Are we
mhm,
willing to get in groups with other women and talk about these hard things? Are we willing to be, vulnerable? Are we willing to be sensitive? You and I have a very, very close friendship. I have a very close friendship with my daughter as well, and we talk about those things. We talk about girls, right? The lack thereof or the abundance and the annoyingness. We talk about those things, and even if the person who you're talking to can't do anything about the grief that you have, about the loss, having a partner, having companionship, being
mm.
able to be open and vulnerable does take the grief down.
Having somebody to just bounce things off of does so much for your mind and for your body, just knowing that you're not alone in that moment.
Yeah. And that's
Mm,
what getting to after is, that's why we're here.
mm,
We talk about the more sensitive topics, especially as it pertains to women in midlife. And for me, this is a pet peeve thing that I have about the way women talk about themselves. And again, this is not a self talk episode, but if we're in Women's History Month and women are doing amazing things and you're still in private self deprecating, you're still making fun of yourself in front of others, or you're still
mm.
standing in your closet every morning wishing that you were someone else, or you're looking at gray hairs, and, oh my goodness. I personally, my hair is going gray. I'm probably completely white. I like black hair. I will dye my hair. Do I feel like I'm not enough because it's gray? No, because on the days it's gray. It's my hair, right? I'm happy I have it, right? So I think that it is a matter of talking about it. And when we're willing to have conversations that are challenging or open, and everyone starts doing it in your little circle or in your coaching group or at the gym, the women that you're around, stop faking.
Mm,
Faking, not being authentic, is where grief is born. And so
mm.
I think that this tension, a lot of it, we're creating it ourselves because we're taking on somebody else's thoughts of who we're supposed to be. We need to determine who that is.
Oh, that was deep because we do. We grow up hearing certain things or from our mates or whatever it may be. So we start taking on that personality of what it looks like in our minds
Yeah,
when that doesn't even belong to us.
does not belong.
Mm.
And to me, I love that. Does not belong to me. So why in the world? Why am I stealing something that doesn't belong to me? Doesn't belong to me. I don't want it.
I don't
Right?
want it.
I don't want. It's like, right,
Yeah.
get up off me. Right. So let's go ahead and release some of this tension. And, we're trying to talk about this a little lightly. This is a great month for women, right? But we can't ignore that this stuff is happening. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today. So we're going to do a little tapping. I'm going to lead a tapping right now about what does it look like to change and struggle with different things about our bodies or about how we're looking or our skin or how we're changing. And how can we change that conversation a little bit? What can we release? What can we realize we may be embodying, but there can be joy? How can we allow all of that to coexist?
Mm.
So let's start on the karate chop point again and just tap. And we're just going to do a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth as we tap. Just get, again, if you have been tapping along with us, just get used to kind of that motion of tapping in through your nose. And while you follow Morgan in breathing, I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about, where do you think you are right now with your body, with your changes that you have? Morgan, just continue to do some breaths for them. Do you notice in the mornings that maybe you don't feel the way you used to feel? And there is a little grief there. Do you notice that when you go into work, maybe you feel a little bit more uncomfortable in your clothing? Or when you see other women, you find yourself comparing? Has the not enough feeling, that feeling of not being enough or enoughness, have nothing to do with your capacity or capability, but it's actually something that has to do with how you show up as a person? Have you stopped accepting who you are in your body? If so, go ahead and give yourself a number from 0 to 10. Like, maybe it's a 5. Maybe you're decent most days. Maybe it's a 7 or a 9, where most days of the week you don't like yourself that much and you're not talking about it. Let's release some of that right now. Even though my body has changed in ways I sometimes struggle with,
Even though my body has changed in ways I sometimes struggle with,
I choose to meet my body where it is today.
I choose to meet my body where it is today.
Yeah. Even though part of me worries about all of these changes,
Even though part of me worries about all of these changes,
do I even know who I am anymore?
do I even know who I am anymore?
I choose to love and respect myself.
I choose to love and respect myself.
And even though I question my worth because of my reflection in the mirror sometimes,
And even though I question my worth because of my reflection in the mirror sometimes,
I still love her.
I still love her.
She has been with me all this time,
She's been with me all this time,
and I refuse to neglect her now.
and I refuse to neglect her now.
Let's go through these tapping points, Morgan. Eyebrow point, these thoughts about my body.
These thoughts about my body.
Side of eye, not always recognizing myself.
Not always recognizing myself.
Under eye, comparing myself to who I used to be.
Comparing myself to who I used to be.
Under eye, wondering how others see me when they look at me.
Say that again. Say under nose.
Under nose, wondering what others see when they look at me.
Wondering what others see when they look at me.
Chin, I'm tired of carrying this quiet judgment.
I'm tired of carrying this quiet judgment.
It's too heavy.
It's too heavy.
The cost is too dear.
And the cost is too dear.
Collarbone. I don't have to judge myself.
I don't have to judge myself.
I can learn to accept myself for who I am right now.
I can learn to accept myself for who I am right now.
Underarm. I have a fear of not measuring up.
I have a fear of not measuring up.
I'm willing to let that fear go.
I'm willing to let that fear go.
Top of head, my body carries all my stories,
My body carries all of my stories,
my scars,
my scars,
and my joy.
and my joy.
Why should I abandon her?
Why should I abandon her?
Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Exhale slowly. Eyebrow point. My body has carried me through everything.
My body has carried me through everything.
Side of eye. Allowing more compassion in.
Allowing more compassion in.
Stay there for a moment. Allowing more compassion in.
Allowing more compassion in.
Under eye. Releasing harsh comparisons.
Releasing harsh comparisons.
They don't belong here.
And they don't belong here.
Under nose. I let my body breathe.
I let my body breathe.
I let my belly be soft.
I let my belly be soft.
Every breath is the one I want to take.
Every breath is the one I want to take.
Chen, I'm making peace with the changes.
I am making peace with the changes.
With the unfamiliar.
With the unfamiliar.
With the changing reflection.
With the changing reflection.
Collarbone, I'm still in there.
I'm still in there.
My worth has nothing to do with perfection.
My worth has nothing to do with perfection.
Underarm, it never did.
It never did.
It never will.
It never will.
I accept that now.
I accept that now.
Releasing this tension.
Releasing this tension.
In my belly, my shoulders, my arms.
In my belly, my shoulders, my arms.
And my legs.
And my legs.
Top of head, giving myself permission to move.
Giving myself permission to move.
To change.
To change.
To have respect for my beautiful, wonderfully made body.
To have respect for my beautifully, wonderfully made body.
Yeah. Take a deep breath in. Blow it out. Just ground for a second. Take your shoulders, take them up, back, around, and down. Do that a few times. You may want to release tension in your head by moving your neck back and forth. We just did 3 pretty deep tappings today on capacity, capability, and change. And as women, these are 3 things that are not going to get any easier as we age. And it's okay. We just have to prepare ourselves. We have to release what we don't need. And you have to be willing to do things like tapping, breathing, grounding, and as Morganne said, sitting down and just resting. You know, Morganne, when I was an age, and you know good and well, I had a whole lot of stuff. I realized that I couldn't bring everything with me. And we left some things behind. And guess what? I don't miss them. I don't miss them. You know, we have to realize that carrying all this negative stuff with us or carrying all these heavy things, whether they're negative or not, if you're carrying a lot of things that you don't need, it's too heavy and there is an emotional cost. And it's not a massive shift. Sometimes it was taking out 1 or 2 items. And those little tiny micro moves made my bag lighter.
Made all those dominoes start falling, right?
And then I didn't have to pay. That's the thing. I moved a little something and everything fell into place. I didn't have to pay that cost. And it's the same with us. So sometimes what we have to think about is one thing, one thought that we interrupt, one extra breath, one movement that we change. And everything, as Morganne said, can be like those dominoes that can fall in place so that you make history every single day.
During these tappings, a lot of things can stir inside of us. So if at some point something whispered to you, we really hope that you allow it to just settle in your body, release it if you can, and know that we're here to help support you in every way that we can here at Getting to After.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And in fact, let me just put something up to make sure if you would like to do some additional tapping, let me make sure it's still, look, we're still in winter right now. Please make sure that you use this final couple of weeks of being able to get the winter magazine. And I always like to highlight that Morganne has a really special feature every single one of our magazines where she leads you through a grounding that is specifically just for our magazine subscribers or the persons who buy our magazines. And I've mentioned many times before, the magazine specifically is to help us with an initiative where we're able to give back to women who are survivors of domestic violence by giving them toiletry items, things that they need and things for their children, just to make their life a little bit easier and also to let them remember that they're not forgotten. So by your
Mhm.
$10 donation for the magazine, you get something amazing for your nervous system, tapping and grounding with Morgan and recipes and music, and like it's all the things. But then also, you know that you're able to give back. And then if you spend $20 and you get it for the entire year, that's 4 issues each quarter, you get one. You're also able to give one to someone else. So we are actually gifting you, gifting a friend, and you're gifting these other women so that they have something as well. You don't want to miss one of the groundings, Morgan. We're already in preparation for the spring issue, but you'll get the winter and you also get the spring. You don't want to miss out on that. You know, getting to after, we're more than just a podcast, right? So we do have our journals, we have the podcast, we have our magazine, and we also have where you can go ahead and tap along with us. You can get a one-on-one appointment. And this is how you do that. This link, bit.ly/chat-tap. So please come on back. Enjoy your Women's Month. Know that you are history making and it's powerful, and we celebrate you. Not just for the changes you're making out there, not just for the changes you're making in your family, not for just for the changes you make at work, but for the changes you make in yourself. If no one's clapped for you today, like
Yes.
standing ovation for you, we want to make sure that you know that you're seen. And
Mhm.
change can come in any way. Your capability, your capacity can expand whenever you want to.
Mhm.
You're not alone, and we love you. Morgan?
We want to make sure that you know that you're seen, that you know that you're loved, and more than anything, that you're enough. We love
Yes.
you both.
Yes. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye.